Hey everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. Last month, Apple introduced the all-new iPhone 16 Pro and the Apple Watch Series 10 models. And both of them had one common thing, that they got larger displays. Now, I've been testing both the new iPhone 16 Pro Max and the new Apple Watch Series 10 for quite a few weeks now. I've done full reviews on them that you can check out on my channel or in the links in the description below. And I have my thoughts on if those bigger screens are worth it or not. I feel like every time Apple releases a new iPhone with a larger screen, a lot of people ask, is this necessary? In fact, I have a lot of family and friends who say that we're kind of done with larger iPhones, but data actually shows that whenever Apple launches a new iPhone with larger displays, it becomes a master hit. And that's exactly what they did this year, because if you take aside the larger display and you remove camera control, which I could care less about, there's not really a big difference with the previous generation iPhone with the new one. And I've gone through all of that in my review for the new iPhone 16 Pro Max. But with the Apple Watch, I always like a larger display because I feel like it's such a small form factor. So if they give you more content to look at and everything feels and looks a lot bigger without making the overall device bigger, then I think that's always a win. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the details regarding the larger displays on the iPhone 16 Pros and the new Apple Watch Series 10 and if they're worth it. So first, let's go over some details. So the iPhone 16 Pro, which had a 6.1-inch display, now has a 6.3-inch display, and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which previously had a 6.7-inch display, now has a 6.9-inch display. And when it comes to the Apple Watch Series 10, both models are larger now, and in fact, the 46mm Apple Watch Series 10 is ever so slightly larger than the Apple Watch Ultra. And a lot of people bought the Apple Watch Ultra because they wanted the larger display. Of course, it's got this rugged design and it's got certain features, which is great for explorers and divers and people who like, adventure and hiking and stuff like that. But a lot of people that I personally know went just because they liked the larger display. And now technically, Apple has brought that to the normal Series 10 as well. So when there were rumors about the Apple Watch Series 10 getting a larger display, I was excited because, like I said, a lot of customers, including myself, went for an Ultra for the larger display. They're going to be really happy because the Series 10 is a lot slimmer and a lot lighter than the Apple Watch Ultra, because not everybody is a fan of that rugged design and not everybody needs it. Personally, I always like the design of the standard Apple Watch a lot more than the Ultra. And that bigger screen size is exactly what I was looking for, so I was excited when rumors were suggesting that. But when it came to the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I was confused because I was like, why is Apple increasing the display size to these already large phones? And is that 0.2-inch screen difference really going to make an impact? Well, after using both devices, I'll tell you that in a second. But first, I want to talk about the Apple Watch Series 10. When I first unboxed the Apple Watch Series 10 and I wore it, it did feel a little larger. I wouldn't say it felt a lot larger than the Series 9, but the larger display was definitely noticeable. Everything does seem a little bigger. You get an extra row of text, and those are things I appreciate. And little things like typing messages on the display of the watch is better than ever before. Tapping on things and stuff like that does make a difference, so you feel it. Now with the iPhone, I'll be very honest, I have seen zero impact on a day-to-day basis from using a 6.7-inch iPhone to now a 6.9-inch iPhone. It honestly is something that's very unnoticeable. Yes, it looks very futuristic because now you have the slimmer bezels. And I do appreciate the fact that, yeah, you got a larger display, but the overall body or footprint of the device is not much larger. So you're getting the same device as the iPhone 15 or the 15 Pro Max, but with a larger display. And that is something I welcome, but I still find it a little unnecessary because Apple isn't doing anything to the software to take advantage of the new screen sizes. So for example, if you're on the home screen, I feel like Apple could do so much with the spacing of the icons and stuff to take advantage of the larger display. Just look at this space right here in between the last row of the apps and the dock. Why is this space so unusable? I mean, you could have an extra row of icons, or you can have more spacing with the row of icons so that it looks more aesthetically pleasing or better in usability, but you're not getting that. I was also hoping that the larger screen might enable more apps or widgets to be added on the home screen, and once again, you don't get that, you just get more blank space. So if you're in the market for a new iPhone and you really want to go for the Pro series because of the larger displays, because you think that that's going to make a difference, I'm going to say hold off on that. You will not find a difference between using the previous generation iPhones and this one. Yes, it looks more futuristic, but that has more to do with the narrowing down of the bezels than the actual larger displays. Now with the Apple Watch, yes, I do like the larger display on that. I think it makes a huge difference. I actually, returned my Apple Watch Series 10 and went back to the Series 9 because I'm waiting for my Hermes Apple Watch Series 10 to come in. So going back from the Apple Watch Series 10 after using that for a few weeks and going back to the Series 9, I kind of miss the larger display. It's one of those things where you use something, you don't feel like it makes a big difference, then you go back to the previous one and you're like, okay, I see what I'm missing here. So with the Apple Watch Series 10, it makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. Do you think the larger displays on the iPhone 16 Pro, Pro Max, and the new Apple Watch Series 10 models are worth it? I personally don't think it's worth it for the iPhones, but I do think it's a great addition for the Apple Watches. So let me know your thoughts or your questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Check out both my reviews for the Apple Watch Series 10 and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I'll see you next time.